This morning with the special advisor on taxation and revenue to the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Abdulkadir Ogungbo. He's here. Mr. Ogungbo, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank
How's
you.
it been with the new tax law?
Yes.
So many sides to the story, the true, the false, the ugly, the manipulated, and
Yes,
how's it been?
it's just funny, and you can't really blame people because before this very bold step, it takes us a long time to have a reform like this, a very robust, inclusive, that touches almost everyone in a very, very positive light. So a lot of people will be, agitated because they feel that, and when you look at the time that will take in educating or correcting the misinformation, and that's not also good for our people. If you don't have basic information, it's better you come to the people that can give you that information. So rather than disseminating or misinforming the people, which
I guess you're referring to the video of someone whom a lot of Nigerians respect, who came out to say that the new tax law hasn't started yet, that is going to start by 2027. Perhaps you want to correct.
So many, misgiven and misinformation out there. And today,
has the new tax law started?
Yes, because immediately it's assented to by the president. It means it presupposes that it has started. So, and now the workings. So tax is expected to be filed or rated based on the previous or outgoing year. So the rate for 2026, so we're actually, the 2026 is the ensuing month, ensuing year. So that is when you are expected to file all your returns that you have done in 2026. And that is why Lagos, in 2025 and coming to 2026, to file what you have expended or your activities, financial activity in 2025, in 2026. So saying that it has not started, of course, I don't know where they are getting that from.
Okay, so states are supposed to domesticate the new law. What does a domesticated tax law look like in Lagos?
Yes, beyond the legal conversation of taking that bill, Joint Revenue Board, the new established Joint Revenue Board, is saddled with the responsibility of putting the bills together before now. When it's passed, every state needs to take it to their House of Assembly, in our own case, Lagos State House of Assembly, to now sit on it, debate it, and domesticate what you have in alignment with what the GRB has been able to do. So what does it mean in context, in a broader context? It means simplicity. It means harmonization. So when you say simplicity, it means that every gray area that hitherto were not too clear to our people, Lagos is now making it clearer. So we're going to be talking about how we're exempting those that are below the pyramid, those, what is the rules on our rental income, what is it that we are doing about harmonization, what about unified standards, what do we have to do about our own integration, and the templates for integrating or collaborating with our third tier of government, which is local government. So in our own case, the implementation means that all tiers of government need to work together, not necessarily centralizing, but rather ensuring that whatever the GRB has recommended and passed is also domesticated in a manner that everybody understands and we're able to, implement it successfully.
So I like the rental part, because that's the question a lot of people have come to ask me and I've not been able to answer. So I really appreciate that. But before we go there, you organized an event in December. I met you there. The governor was there. And I remember speaking with the governor afterwards to say, one of the biggest worries of people who are operating business in the informal sector especially is the non-official actors, the guys on the road. I mean, when you're coming from Berger, you see them a lot with the trucks, and these trucks are carrying food, which is supposed to serve the populace. So eventually, whatever money they're collecting there goes back to the consumers. Yeah. And the governor did promise that working with the local government, which you just mentioned, you're going to get these guys off the streets.
Yes.
They are still on the street anyway. Yeah. Is it too early to expect? But what's going on?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, when I try to explain what we are doing, so number one is we're trying to adopt, first and foremost, the Joint Revenue Board position of harmonization. What harmonization means is that when a truck leaves Kebbi and is coming to Lagos, you only take one payment from that truck.
At what point?
Point of loading or at discharge, but in this case, point of loading. So that ticket or a bill is now showed efficiently because you don't need to have anybody on the road again. At the back end, the states are involved, will be shared in any way. They have NRS and they have Federation, where the money is collected on behalf of states, now shared it at the end of the month at our FARC and whatever. So now, coming to the promise of Mr. Governor. So Mr. Governor has directed that all stakeholders, local government and state government, need to work together. So we have interstate borders and we have intrastate activity. Our own intra is, for instance, when you lift a good from, let's say, Apapa to Ibejileki or Ekpe, you are likely to meet 5 local governments. So we are talking to local government to harmonize. So when we're talking about our own harmonization, what it means is that the collection, where necessary, that after being recommended by the Joint Revenue Board, which we are trying to domesticate, means that we're not going to be charging our people at multiple points again. So, and this, you should expect the result very, very soon. So what are we doing around that? 1, we are harmonizing. 2, we are integrating the system to say that when X amount is collected, every organs that need to share it need to be transparently notified that 2,000 naira, 10,000 naira has been collected. 3rd, collaboration. We need to talk together so that some of these people you're calling non-state actors, in actual fact, some of them are acting on behalf of a recognized body. Like a local government want to earn or generate more revenue, they send people out. So we understand that fact. So Mr. Governor says that don't overrun the government because federal government is not overrunning state government. So try to engage them. So we engage them like you met them, and we've had several engagements as well. So we're going to be collaborating with them to do this together using one system. And finally, engagement. Engagement of both state actors, so to speak, and non-state actors. That this is not good for a state like Lagos. This is not good for our vision. This is not good for our positioning. This is not good for what we are doing. So when you engage that, you put a system in place, you collaborate, you engage, and you also use the law by way of enforcement. Anybody that goes against this, haven't gone this route, then it means that the person is waiting to see the route of the law. So, and that's what we're doing.
So we can expect that soon.
Soon, very soon.
I mean, to be realistic, these things have been happening for a long time. So it will take time to get them
really
off the road. But at least by December this year.
Yeah, we should be able to
we should be able to see the results.
Yes.
Okay, so please do explain to me the rental income part in the new tax law. What's that all about? Some landlords say they might have to increase because they are paying to the government now, so they add that to their existing rent, and at the end of the day, it's still the tenant that is paying.
One very interesting thing about this tax reform is the people at the bottom of the pyramid, people with low income, and that reflects or evident in the threshold for tax payment, the threshold for SMEs from their a turnover of 100 million below, and 250 worth of assets, million of worth of assets. And also, this relief also goes to tenants. So landlord may want to say that, why are we at the receiving end? So the point is this: taxes, withholding tax or whatever that you have paid on your rental income is not final tax. What it means is that you can get a refund from another form. But what the president wants to happen is, once a tenant declare, don't forget the route. The route is that you must file your returns. When you file your returns and say that I have paid rent, X amount of rent, 2.5 million below, you are going to get 500,000 relief from that 2.5 million. So, and it means that 20% of your rental, of your rent is now going to be relief for you. That's what it means. Then anything above 500,000 will not be, is capped at 500,000. So to a landlord, so landlord is expected to declare the income from rent, and you pay 10% or lower if you have other. If it is only that income, you may be exempted, from that initial payment. But subsequently, maybe people with about 4 or 5 properties, so you pay effective rates on all of that. So in summary, rental income favors tenants more, because you are going to be relieved with about 20%, and you're going to tell the authority where you have paid your rent to before you can enjoy that benefit.
For a salary earner whose tax is removed from source by the employer, what does the scenario looks like? So
when you have been employer has deducted your pay as you earn, so as it were. So then when you're filing your returns, you get a relief from that rental income. From that rent. I call it rental income. I say from that rent that you have paid. So they are not related, especially when you are meant to file returns and get relief. Don't forget that when a tax authority sees you, it sees everything about you, your social status, your bank statement, and co. So there is no hidden place for the authority. So when these things are put together or juxtaposed, so then you can get relief where necessary, or refund where necessary.
Okay, well, I think that, Mr. Ogunbagbo, we're going to have you back, God's grace, because it's obviously a continuous thing, and there's the need for understanding and enlightenment, and most especially when those guys are off the road. We'll have you back. At least come and boast. We don't mind.
Yes, we're going to do that. But with the effort of the local government chairman, all MDAs involved, and co, I'm sure we're going to get that sorted.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. Special Advisor on Taxation and Revenue for Lagos State Governor, Mr. Ogunbagbo Abdul Kabir.
Abdul Kabir.
Thank you so much.